Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee and today I'm going to be talking about books. So first off, excuse the lighting. I know I have the lines on my face, but the blinds are open, and if you can hear the birds chirping in the back, sorry, but I just really like to have the windows open. So anyway, today I'm going to be doing a book haul, and this is a pretty big book haul. But I didn't buy all these books at once. I bought them maybe like a month or so ago, but like over the span of like 2 months. So yeah, there are quite a few, and some of them were in my books I read in July video. So for those ones, I'm gonna go through them first, and I'm just gonna get them out of the way. And for these ones, I'm not going to be saying anything about them because I already gave my opinions in that video. So if you want to see what I thought, just go watch that video. Okay, so out of the books that I read last month, we have Death in Her Hands by Ottessa Moshfegh, Ida B by Catherine Hannigan, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson, Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut, 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff, Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. Okay, so now that we've got all the ones that I've already talked about out of the way, these next ones I'll go a little bit more in depth on them, but not too much because there still are a lot of books to get through. So the next book we have is The Vegetarian by Han Kang, and I actually did read this one. It's been on my TBR for a while now. I think I saw Kayla from Books and Lala read it a while ago. It could have been another book too, but I think it was her. And I was like, that seems interesting because it basically follows this girl, or like the synopsis says that it follows this girl who turns vegetarian one day and her family's against it, and it gets very bloody, like increasingly bloody is how it describes it. So I thought that this was going to be a very bizarre novel, you know, very much like Nick Cutter the Deep, very grotesque almost, but it wasn't. It did get violent at certain parts, but it wasn't anything like I expected, and I didn't love it. I think I ended up giving it 2 stars. Yeah, so it was really disappointing, but you know, it is what it is. And if you do plan on reading this, even though I didn't exactly sell it to you, I would look at the trigger warnings before, because there are just a lot of things in it that might trigger some people, so I would just look those up before reading. Then the next book I read is Writers and Lovers by Lilly King, and I just recently finished this one, and I really enjoyed it. The writing is so unique. It's almost like a train of thought, but more organized. And I don't know if I just got more used to the writing style throughout the novel or it became more organized, but as we moved forward, it started feeling more cohesive, more plot based, and I really liked it. She didn't spend any extra time like over describing things at all. It's very much this happened and this happened and this happened, and I really like that because it makes the character feel more realistic, and the main character in the novel does feel very realistic. Like, I'm sure anybody could relate to her. Basically, it follows a waitress named Casey who is dealing with the grief of losing her mother and also heartbreak over this one guy named Luke, and they, you know, broke up a little while ago. And it's just her living her life, and through all this, she is also trying to become a writer, but she doesn't really believe in herself. She doesn't really think that she's anything special. And so you're just kind of following her, and it's like a very, nothing out of the ordinary happens, and so it almost feels like this could be anybody. And so I think that's what makes it so good, is that it's so unique but also so normal, and like it feels so real. So I really enjoyed that one. I gave it 5 stars. So the next book is Innocent Erendira by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and I got this one because I wanted to read 100 Years of Solitude, and I was looking everywhere. Like, I kept going to bookstores, I couldn't find it for some reason, and I found 2 short story collections. I forgot the other one, but then there was this one, and I was like, you know what, I'll just pick up a short story collection by him and see if I like it. And as you can see, I haven't finished it yet, but there's only like 30 pages left, and I don't know, I'm kind of conflicted because some of the short stories are really good. Like, the first one was really strong, but it's also another situation where I would say to look at the trigger warnings first. And certain other short stories are also really strong, but some of them are just not that interesting to me, and I find that it happens with other short stories. Like, the only other short story collection I read was Homesick for Another World by Otis Moshfegh, and I DNF'd that one. So I don't know, maybe short story collections are just not for me, or I just need like longer short stories, because the ones in here that are just like 3 or 4 pages, I just feel like I don't really care about the situations happening, and so I don't want to read more. But basically what I'm doing with this book is after I finish one book, I read one short story in here, so that's why it's taking me a minute to get through, but yeah. And then up next we have the book that I'm currently reading, which is Play It As It Lays by Joan Didion, which mainly follows a girl named Maria and her life in the 60s, and it's supposed to be just like a commentary on American life and women, and I think it's interesting so far. The writing style is very interesting. It's fast paced, but it's also confusing. Like, I find myself being like, wait, what? But it's like a random little choppy sentence, you know? But I really do like it so far, and I'll start a little stuck back here. I really do like it so far, and I was worried that I wouldn't, but so far so good. The next book that I'll go into, because you can see them right here, is The Snowman by Jo Nesbo, and this one I got at a used bookstore for only $5.50, and I heard really good things about this from Noelle Gallagher on YouTube. I'm really excited to read this, but also I kind of want to wait until December, because like snow, like Christmas, I feel like we're in Christmas times and you always want to read like a mystery, like a thriller moment. So yeah, I don't know if this is more horror or thriller, but either way I'm excited to read it. And I think it basically just follows a killer. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows, but a killer who built a snowman once he's killed someone as like his little trademark, and then they're trying to figure out who it is. That's all I know about it, but it does seem interesting, and like I said, it was only $5.50, so I was like, of course I have to. And the next book that I got is You by Carolyn Kepnes, and this one I am really excited about. I did watch the series on Netflix, so I feel like I'm kind of hesitant to read this because I feel like they're going to be the exact same, and I feel like I've heard from other people say that they're very similar, but I'm not sure. So if you don't know what You is about, it's basically about this guy who ends up stalking this girl and just becomes obsessed with her, and that's basically it. And like I said, because I've seen the show, I'm afraid that I'll just like know all the plot twists, but we'll see. Maybe there is something new that I won't see coming. This next book I'm really excited about, and this is A House at the Bottom of the Lake by Josh Malerman, and I've heard fantastic things about this, and it's really short too, and for some reason I just keep thinking like I want to wait until I'm really in the mood for something bizarre, because I'm pretty sure this like bizarre horror, I don't think it's a thriller, I'm pretty sure it's horror, but yeah, basically this is just about a house at the bottom of the lake, and that's pretty much all I know about it. And I'm pretty sure people go down there, but because it's so deep, like weird things start happening to this house because, you know, the pressure is building up and everything, and so they're in there and anything can happen to them. That's the vibe I get, and I'm pretty sure that's what it's about, but I don't know like the actual plot of it or anything, but I am still very excited to read it. And also, Josh Malerman is an author that I really want to get into. I do want to read Goblin, which is his new short story collection. I know I was just talking badly about short story collections, but I do want to read it, even though I've heard not great things about it. So, who knows. Up next is another one that I'm really excited about, and that is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. And this one is an iconic... Bookmark. Okay, this one is an iconic novel that I have not yet read, and I feel like I need to immediately, because for one, everybody talks about it, everybody raves about it, it's supposedly so good, and I need to see what it's all about. The only thing that I really know about this is that it follows a girl, I'm pretty sure a young girl, who is just going deeper and deeper into, I don't know if it's like chaos or like depression, I'm not even sure, but I don't really want to know anything going into it. So yeah, I cannot wait to get into this one, but this is another one that I'm like, I need to wait for the perfect time to read it, which doesn't make sense because any time would be the perfect time to read it. So yeah, but I still am very excited for that one. And look, these books look so similar for some reason on there. Anyway, the next book that I got is Pachinko by Minjin Lee. And this one I was so excited to find because I was at a thrift store and I had been looking for this like in Barnes and Noble like I was like, oh, I'll for sure find it. Could not find it. I find it in a thrift store for $1. Literally $1. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I mean, you know, there's some distressing and whatnot, but I don't care. This one I'm super duper excited about, and I honestly don't even know too much about this one, but I believe it follows multiple generations of one family after they are like exiled from their homeland or something along those lines. And yeah, I just think it's gonna be really beautiful and like heartbreaking and wonderful, and so I feel like this is like a very fall book to read. I don't know. So I'm just gonna say, like, I save these books because I save it for when I am in that specific mood. Like if I'm in the mood for like a horror, crazy, gory book, then I'll know a book to go to. If I'm in the mood for like a soft, I want to cry, like I'll know a book to go to. So yeah, I'm definitely saving this for that time. Now this next one, I'm a little bit not nervous, but I don't know if I'll like it. But that is Less by Andrew Sean Greer. And this one is a romance, I believe, which just follows this writer who is invited to his ex's wedding, and instead of just being like, I don't want to go, he accepts like every single interview or like book signing or like those kinds of things that he gets, so that way he's busy on the day of the wedding, which is a weird plot, but it sounded cute, and I was like, oh, I'll read it. And I think I heard about this from Gabby Reads here on YouTube, and I was like, oh, that looks cute. And I don't know why, because like I don't even read romance. Like nothing wrong with it, it's just a little bit boring to me. So yeah, I don't know. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna read this after reading The Vegetarian, because like this was so like strange in all the wrong ways and like slow. And okay, really quick about that book. Another like a thing that really took me out of the story was that every section is from a new perspective, and I feel like it took me so long to get into that perspective that by the time I was in it, we were in another one, and I was like, and there's only like 3 perspectives throughout the whole book, so if that doesn't say a lot, then I don't know what will. Like it took me like 70 pages to get into one perspective, you know? So yeah, I didn't love it. But anyway, this book I read literally like a page, and I think I just wasn't in the mood to read when I read it, but I was like, and then I started reading Writers and Lovers instead, which was a good choice. But yeah, I do definitely intend to still read this. I'm not gonna DNF it after like 1 page attempt, but yeah, I just don't know when, because like I said, I'm not even really a romance person, but this one was also $1 at a used bookstore, so I was like, I have to get it. I can't pass up on these opportunities. And the next book is a very similar situation. I think I bought them at the same time, and that is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. And this book, I feel like people talked about this like years ago. Everybody was talking about it, or I was like seeing it everywhere. And honestly, I don't even know what the plot of this book is, and I don't really want to know. I think it's something about like there's a boy and he's like investigating the death of this dog. But that's all I know, and that could even be wrong. So yeah, I don't know if I said, but this is by Mark Haddon, and this was also $1. So yeah, that's pretty much why I got it, and just because I know a lot of people like this and talk about it, so I wanted to know what the hype was all about. Honestly, I don't know when I'll get to this one, just because all the other books are books that have been on my TBR for so long, and this one has been on my TBR, but not one that I've been like really wanting to read. So we'll see when I get to that. Up next, we have 2 books by Toni Morrison. First, we have Beloved, and we also have Paradise. And these were also both $1 from used bookstores. Like, used bookstores are just the move if you can find a good clearance section. I don't know what either of these are about, really. I just know that Toni Morrison is a very influential, a very wonderful writer that everybody praises, and so I need to know why, you know? I've been wanting to read these for so long. I mean, Paradise is not a Toni Morrison book that was really on my radar. I just got it because this was the first one that I saw, and it was $1. And honestly, I feel like it was like I thought it was less than that, but it was $1, which is still so cheap. And then this one, Beloved, is the one that I actually really wanted to read. This is one of her more famous works, I think, and yeah, also $1, so I was like, I can't pass that up, and I was super excited, but I'm just a little nervous to read it because when I read like more classic literature, I get like really easily taken out of the reading experience for some reason, because I get bored. Like, even if I'm liking the story, I still get bored, and like, I don't know what it is. And right now I've kind of been in a slump. Like, this month I've only read 2 books plus most of the short story collection, and then I'm starting the other book, obviously, but it's like last month by this point I'd read like 5 or 6 books. So yeah, and I just don't want to put myself in a slump, because I feel like her writing is going to be the kind of writing where it takes a little bit of getting used to, but then once you're in it and you're obsessed. That's the vibe I'm getting, but you know, I'm not too sure. So we'll just have to see about that one. Next, we have a book that I'm really excited for despite everything I've been saying, and that's Everything's Eventual by Stephen King, which is a short story collection of 14 dark tales. And I don't know why, but I'm so excited for this. I hate to say it, I really like Stephen King. Like, I read, I think 3 of his books. I read The Shining, I read Misery, and I read The Long Walk, and they were all really good in my opinion. And granted, those are like 3 of his most famously loved books, I feel. Like, the only other one I can think of is Pet Sematary, which, I don't know, I probably wouldn't read that one. It just doesn't, I don't think I would love it. But yeah, I really liked the other ones, and I really like this cover because, like, you can see right there, it's like a little dinner setup with like the blood or whatever that is, and then on the back, it's like all bloody and crazy with the same scene, and I think it's really interesting. And I'm gonna do the same thing that I'm doing with this short story collection, and that's after I read a book, I'm gonna read 1 short story. I think I'll like this one more because it's longer, so I'm assuming each story is gonna be long, or at least like a decent amount, and then I'll be able to get more into it. So yes, I'm excited for this one. Up next, this is one that I strictly got because it was so cheap on clearance at a used bookstore, and that is Room by Emma Donoghue. This one, okay, so let me start by saying, once I reached 100 books on my TBR on Goodreads, I was like, okay, I can only buy books that are on this list, because what I would do is I would add stuff to the list, but then I would read stuff that wasn't on the list, so I wasn't knocking off the books, you get it, and it would just keep going up, like, yeah. But this book was the exception because it was 25 cents, and I could not pass that up because, I mean, I think people really like this. I don't know, it's like I haven't heard many people talk about it, but the people that I do hear talk about it really like it. If you don't already know what it's about, which I'm sure you do, it's about this little boy who was born in this room because his mother is being held captive, and like she has been for his entire life. So all he knows is this one room, and that's all I know about it. I've never seen the movie. Like, it obviously became a movie with Brie Larson and Jacob Tremblay, which I love Jacob Tremblay. He's so cute. I think he's gonna be the best actor of like his time. He's like 10, so good for him. I didn't watch it. I heard it was good, but I'm glad I didn't, because then I won't know what's gonna come up in the novel. Anyway, so next I got a book that's pretty ambitious, and I'm a little nervous for it, but that is Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. And this book, honestly, it doesn't look like it on camera, but it's like, she's a big book, like over 1,000 pages. It's 1,079 pages to be exact, and teeny tiny font. Like, the camera doesn't even want to pick it up. Like, look at that. So yeah, this will probably take me a month at least, like a month minimum to finish. I am not a fast reader, and when it's things like this, which is just so many words on one page, I feel like I get almost discouraged, because like if there's big text, like if a book is this size but the pages are all big text, like you feel like you're going through it fast, you know, you're like, wow, I already read 20 pages, it's been like 5 minutes. Like, yeah, because there's like 3 words on every page. But then with this, it's like, it's been 20 minutes and I read 2 pages, you know, so it's like, And like I said, I'm just a slow reader in general, so we'll see. I do think that this will be interesting because I, again, don't really even know what this is about, but I think it is mainly a commentary on entertainment and the value that we place on it, and I could be totally wrong with that, but I think that'll be really interesting because that's something that I kind of think about a lot, and I think it's just the value that we place on like material items in general. And again, maybe I'm wrong, and I don't know where I'm getting that from, but yeah, so I am excited for this. I just think that I'm only gonna be able to read it once I read a good amount of these, so that way I can't be like, oh, but it's gonna take so long and I'm gonna read other things, you know, because like there's nothing else. Up next, I'm really excited for this one. I got Shooky Bane by Douglas Stewart, and this is another one I don't know the plot. Like I didn't even realize that I did that so much, but I don't know the plot of a lot of these books, and this one I really don't want to know the plot at all. I'm assuming it's about this boy and his mom, but the reason I got it is two things. Number one, I heard this is a really devastating tale, and I read A Little Life like a little over a year ago, and it's so heartbreaking. Like, it's notorious for being like the saddest book on BookTube, and I heard that this is like equally as sad. And first of all, I don't know if that's going to be true because people said that about the death of Vivek Oji, and that was a really good book, but it was not nearly as sad at all, and I was like, what are you guys talking about? If you thought so, then like good, I'm happy that you got that experience, but like it wasn't for me, and so I'm hoping that this is like giving me that equal energy. But I also got it because I have a video idea for it, and I'm really excited to do that. So yes, but this is another one that's like, I want to first feel like I need a good cry, and then I'll read it. If it doesn't give me that good cry, I'll be really upset. The next book that I got is The Beauty in Breaking by Michelle Harper, and this is, I'm not sure if it's nonfiction. Oh, a memoir. Okay, it's a memoir. I couldn't tell at first if it was nonfiction or like a fictionalized account of someone's life, but it's a memoir, and it basically follows this nurse who is Black, and she's obviously working in a predominantly male white profession, and so it's just her experiences with that. But I think it's told through, like, I don't want to say sections, but different parts where she's kind of showing you what she's learned through her experiences with patients, and I think that's what it's about. I could be mistaking that a little bit, but that's the basic premise regardless. And this one I actually wouldn't have picked up normally, even though this is on my TBR, but the only reason I got it is because when I was in Barnes & Noble, hello, receipt, we don't want to look at that. When I was at Barnes & Noble, it was buy one, get one 50% off, and that's when I got the Play It As It Lays, and so I was like, you know what, I'll get this. And honestly, after I'm starting to read that one and it's really good, I'm like really tempted to start this one next, because who knows, maybe I'll love it. And I haven't read many nonfictions. Like, I've read one and I started another one, but I didn't really get into it because I was starting to get into a reading slump. But yeah, so I don't know, now I'm excited. I think this might be my next read, but I'm not sure yet. And the last book that I got, I'm so excited about, and that is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And first of all, this cover is stunning. Book Oprah's Club. I know it's Oprah's book club, but it's just funny. Anyway, so this is, why am I out of breath? And this is the same author who wrote the short story collection that I'm currently reading, and even though I'm not fully enjoying that, I think it's, like I said, because of the short story format. Like, I feel like there are so many short stories in there that are just too small, like too much of a small part of a story, if that makes sense. And so I just don't vibe with it like I want to. But this I really think I'm gonna love, because he has this sort of magical realism feel, at least in the short story collection. I don't know if that's gonna happen here. I think it will. That's really interesting because it's so subtle, but it's like, maybe this could be real, you know, this could happen. even though it definitely wouldn't. But it feels so real because it's just so subtle. It's such a tiny little thing. So yeah, I'm really excited. But anyway, this follows the Buendia family, I think over centuries or decades, and it just follows them kind of being stuck in this loop of not being able to prosper, is what I gather. And like all the others, I'm not 100% sure if that's accurate, but again, I don't really want to know much more of the plot, and I really just feel like this is going to tug at the heartstrings, but like not be extremely sad. I think it's just gonna be like, I love these characters so much, and that's what I'm really hoping for out of this book. So I'm really excited for this one. I might do like even a little reading vlog of it just because I'm so excited. But yeah, so those were all the books that I got. I really love book shopping. Like, as you can see, it just makes me so happy. Like going into a bookstore, used, new. Honestly, I prefer going into used bookstores because it's normally cheaper, for one, but for two, I don't know, it just feels better than supporting something like Barnes & Noble, you know, which, don't get me wrong, I still go to Barnes & Noble. Like, I just showed you the buy one, get one half off. But yeah, I used to only go through like ABE books, or like thrift books and just order online, but actually going to the store is so fun. So yeah, that was everything that I spent all my money on, all these books, and I hope you enjoyed. If you've read any of the books, tell me your honest opinions down below. Tell me which ones I should read next, because I really don't know. Like I said, I think I'm leaning towards the Beauty and Breaking, which is really surprising to me, but who knows, because I don't. So let me know, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.